Episode 621 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. The new era of 2-hour Raws has now begun. We had the Intercontinental Championship on the line, a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, a 10-woman tag, and the World Heavyweight Championship was on the line as Gunther defended against Sami Zayn. That's all tonight, talking about this 2-hour episode of Monday Night Raw, right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello, Wrestling Fanatics, and welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 621. I am Lance Brock, and thank you for tuning in to the episode of the podcast tonight. Like I mentioned in that little preview there, it is now the new era of 2-hour Raws for the rest of 2024. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Monday night is now the time for Raw until January, when Raw begins on Netflix. So going to be talking all about tonight's episode of Raw. And let's get right into it without any further ado and wasting any more time. Raw was live from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Our commentators for the evening, Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. We start off with some highlights recapping this past Saturday's Bad Blood Premium Live event. And then we start off with CM Punk cutting a promo about the fans mostly, and everyone in the locker room, his peers, and the ones that hate him. And he makes it sound like he's taking at least a little bit of a break. Taking some time off maybe to heal from the Hell in a Cell match, which makes sense. Also, no Drew McIntyre on Raw tonight, which is no surprise. Heard that he is also pretty banged up after Hell in a Cell. And then at the end, he's interrupted. We get the music of Seth freaking Rollins, who returned to Raw last week, getting involved in the last Monster Standing match and costing Bronson Reed the match against Braun Strowman, hitting the curb stomp onto the steel steps. They have a bit of a face-to-face here. Rollins gets in the ring, cuts a promo, and he tells everyone to wish CM Punk to get well soon, so he can get back and he can kick his you-know-what and get him out of here. I might be saying that a little wrong, but that was pretty much what he said. And then I thought, for this first segment of Raw tonight, we're getting quite a bit of interruptions because we hear the music of the WWE Intercontinental Champion main event Jey Uso. But he's out here for the first match on Raw tonight, defending the Intercontinental Championship against Xavier Woods of the New Day. Not a bad match. I actually thought this was a pretty good opener for Raw this week. Uso getting the win with the Uso Splash, 6 minutes 35 seconds. After the match, Jey Uso shows respect, shaking the hand of Kofi Kingston. Goes to show the same respect to Xavier Woods as well. But Xavier doesn't want any part of it. He's upset, just leaves the ring, continuing to tease this heel turn from Xavier Woods. Then after, we get Braun Breaker in the ring, spears Jey Uso. Kofi goes back to help out Jey. He gets speared for his efforts. Xavier Woods does not go back in the ring though. He stays on the floor and checks on Kofi, but Breaker goes to the floor, runs around the ring, and spears Xavier, and then goes back into the ring and spears Jey Uso once again, picks up the IC title and poses with it. So it looks like that feud will be continuing, and with Braun Breaker as the heel, which I have to admit I was kind of surprised with Breaker dropping the title to Jey Uso, and then they had where Breaker congratulated him last week, showing some respect. I thought that could be possibly a babyface turn for Braun Breaker, but as of right now, that does not look like that's going to happen. And then at this time, we get another fiery video, and this time on the screen, PFR. Next up on Monday Night Raw is the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Sheamus vs. Pete Dunne. We get a video package focusing on this feud. But first, I believe we had an interview with Sheamus from Jackie Redmond. And I just want to mention, I think it was during this segment. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong about which segment it was. Or it could have been with the Awesome Truth segment later. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But after one of the video packages, it looked like there might have been some technical difficulties at this time. But that continues, and it turns out that it's for the Wyatt Six, who we did not actually see on tonight's episode of Raw, but like I said, we did get these little things on the screen. There might have been a QR code in there somewhere, not sure. They've kind of went back to them the last couple weeks or so. And that is really all we got with the Wyatt Six on Raw tonight. And then now it's time for the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Sheamus and Pete Dunne. They had a bar set up at ringside with stools. They had whiskey barrels with, I don't remember the name of the brand, but this match, I don't remember if they actually mentioned it on commentary or not, but it must have been sponsored by a whiskey brand or something, because they had it on the barrels. And also the LED ring apron as well had this logo on it. And you know how WWE is with all the advertising these days. Sheamus versus Pete Dunne, though, I thought they had a really good match here. You can tell these two put in a lot of effort using the barrels, using the bar, and Sheamus putting Pete Dunne through 2 tables from the top rope to the floor. And Pete Dunne even gets a hold of some zip ties that were on the bar and ties Sheamus's hands together. But Sheamus is able to overcome that and defeat Pete Dunne 12 minutes 51 seconds, winning the good old-fashioned Donnybrook. So I'm guessing that's the end of this feud. Question is now, what is next for both Sheamus and Pete Dunne here on Raw? And then in the back, we get Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. They arrive at the building with Raquel Rodriguez after she got involved in the Women's World Championship match at Bad Blood. Jackie Redmond goes to interview him, and she goes to ask Raquel if she is now a member of the Judgment Day, but they avoid that question, and they eventually leave right as soon as they get there. Next up on Raw is a 10-woman tag team match. It is the Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and the Pure Fusion Collective taking on the team of Natalya Neidhart, Zelina Vega, Lyra Valkyria, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance. Not a bad match here, but I'm going to say it was anything real special. Valkyria gets the win for her team, pinning Sonya Deville 7 minutes 4 seconds. And then, I hope I didn't miss this, because for some reason I didn't put it in my notes, but we have a segment backstage with The Miz and Karrion Kross. The Miz talking about how he turned on R-Truth last week, how he was sick of him always getting him in tag matches and single matches against Bronson Reed. And then R-Truth walks in, and he thinks that it was pretty much just an accident, just a mistake. He tells Miz that he is not a part of the Judgment Day anymore. And the Miz tells him, or first though, R-Truth says he'll talk to Adam Pearce and get him a match tonight. And that's when the Miz cuts him off and tells him that's the problem. And the Miz does want him to make a match. The Miz versus R-Truth next week on Raw. Now it is time for this week's Monday Night Raw main event, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General Gunther, taking on Sami Zayn, the underdog from the underground. And I just want to say, these two had a great main event. I definitely enjoyed the main event on Raw this week here. And not only from Gunther and Zayn in the ring, but also I thought commentary, Joe Tessitore, I know when he first started about a month or so ago, I said I wasn't a real big fan, but I thought he was really good in this main event tonight. Wade Barrett as well. I thought they did a really good job of calling back to WrestleMania, because there were times in this match where Gunther it seemed like he couldn't put Sami Zayn away, and there were plenty of near falls, like I mentioned on Good Morning Wrestling Fans this morning. Hopefully, even if he doesn't win the title, they will make Sami Zayn look strong, and they did. He put up one good match against Gunther tonight, but it is Gunther retaining the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, 16 minutes, 41 seconds to close this week's Raw. And that was tonight's Monday Night Raw, the first 2-hour episode in this new era for the rest of the year. And the first week, I thought, was a very good episode of Raw. It really, these 2 hours did not drag at all, like sometimes a 3-hour Raw does. They kept the action pretty much fast-paced, boom, 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 and I just thought it was very well-paced, and I wouldn't say it was a bad match, but I would say the only time where, if there was a low point, I would say maybe the 10-woman tag, but even that wasn't that bad. Just the rest of the show, though, with Punk and Rollins at the beginning, and then Jey Uso and Xavier Woods for the IC title. Sheamus, Pete Dunne in the Donnybrook match. And then, of course, the main event, Gunther taking on Sami Zayn. Very good show of Raw this week. I'll have to give that 8.5 out of 10 ring bells. I know I didn't rate each match separately. I need to get back to my rating system. I've kind of been forgetting to do that as of late. Been slacking off a little. But so far, I know this is just the first 2-hour episode, but so far I think things are looking up for the future of Monday Night Raw, or at least the next few months anyway. And that is all for this episode 621 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Tomorrow we have a head-to-head battle, or at least for 1 hour anyway, tomorrow night, because starting at 8 p.m. Eastern on the CW, it is WWE NXT, and starting at 9 p.m. Eastern on TBS is AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday, a special Tuesday episode this week, which is also the go-home episode before this Saturday's Wrestle Dream pay-per-view. Also, you can go into the comment section right now and give your thoughts and your opinions on tonight's episode, 2-hour episode of WWE Monday Night RAW. Also, you can give your predictions for Wrestle Dream this Saturday. I will be back right here tomorrow morning for the Tuesday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. I hope you all will join me tomorrow morning. Thanks again for listening to 360 Wrestling Fanatic tonight. And until tomorrow morning, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.